To know where you're at, you gotta know where you've been. And if you're starting out in film or videography, then this video is especially for you. These are my 3 beginner mistakes. Here we go.
100%. I'm an original. 100%. This is my bounce. 100%.
Mistake number 1, recording right out of the camera. For other people, it's probably something more of preference. And what I mean by right out of the camera, I haven't used the white balance for anything. I'm just shooting straight from the color profile of whatever camera, well, in my case, the Canon 70D or whatever camera you're shooting right out of. The problem with shooting right out of the camera is that if you want to make your footage look completely uniform, unless you're shooting in one location without any light coming in, then this could potentially work. But for me, I know in the beginning I was shooting vlogs, so there was a lot of filming indoors and there was a lot of filming outdoors, and coming from indoors to outdoors very, very quickly. What happens is that some of the footage was in one exposure with certain colors, and then later on in the footage it was a different one. It almost looked like 2 different videos. So if you want your footage to look completely uniform and have that more professional, almost luxurious look, then you most likely don't want to shoot straight out of your camera. If you don't shoot log, in other words, flat, no contrast, no color, is that when you go to post or when you're editing your footage, you have no flexibility. It's almost the equivalent of you shooting a JPEG and not RAW. With the JPEG, you can only take the colors to a certain extent, but with RAW, you have a lot of flexibility. So the same thing applies here in videos. Shooting flat or log looks something like this. And the color correction will look something like this. And the LUT or the color grade will look something like this. Let me run that again. So it's log, color correction, color grade. But you can't have that flexibility. Your footage can't look like that unless you shoot neutral. Mistake number 2, no composition. I was very anxious to shoot my first video, so I went and turned on my camera, pressed record, and I just shot whatever was in sight. The subject, or myself at that point, was never really in the center. I was never really off to a third. There was a lot of empty space. Yeah, I wasn't following the rule of thirds at all. I would record myself very, very close, and then I would go in and out of focus. And since I was recording myself, I had nobody behind the camera. It would just be very distracting and obviously didn't look good. There was no order to it at all. When I learned about composition and how to use negative space and how to align things along the rule of thirds, I'm not saying that that's a staple, but it's very, very useful to learn. It's like a good guide. So if you're starting out, it's a good idea to go ahead and follow the rule of thirds, at least in the beginning, because in order for you to break the rules, you gotta at least know the rules first. Mistake number 3 is the sound. Having good video and good picture profile is very, very important, but if your sound is off, then it just completely not only distracts your audience, your video goes down in production value very, very quickly. So if you don't know what bad audio sounds like, and maybe you haven't noticed it because I have good sound right now and it's fixed, if you're not aware of what bad sound sounds like, well, just listen to this.
What's up, everyone? This is o.javier.tv, and as you can tell, it is about 1,000 degrees outside, and I'm wearing the tank top only because I want to get some color in my arms, all right? It's not any kind of fashion statement or anything like that.
This is what horrible audio sounds like, and I probably recorded most of my videos in the beginning sounding exactly like this. But when I learned about sound design and mixing and different microphones, and that I actually gave some importance to sound, then it sounded a little bit something like this. Almost a world of a difference. You could even argue that sound is probably 70% of the video, and then the whole other, what you're actually seeing in the content and all that other good stuff is like 30%. Make sure you have good sound and invest in good sound. Your video and your audience will thank you for that. Now, this is a bonus mistake. I never used any type of lighting, and I never knew how to use any type of lighting. So even if I was using the ambience lighting or the ambient lighting, whatever light was coming in through the window, or maybe I was outdoors, I never really knew how to use it. So I would either shoot against it and I would just kind of blow my images out overexposed, or I was kind of shooting with it and then I was underexposing my images. And overall, it just didn't look good. It just looked very, very amateurish. So as you can tell, this is the lighting straight from the room, and you let me know how that looks like to you, as opposed to something like this. Now, you be the judge and tell me what you like or what do you prefer looking at. Obviously, there's a couple different, ways that you could go about lighting to make it look exactly how you want it to, but lighting is a very, very important and crucial part of your video and how you want your picture profile to look like on camera. And that way, when you go in post, you don't have to do anything magical, put the magic wand out. You don't have to turn into a wizard. If you take care of it right as you're shooting, then you have minimal things to do in post-production while you're editing. And that way your videos can come out and crank out a lot faster. So there you have it. Those are my top 3 beginner mistakes that I wish that somebody would have kind of given me some tips so I didn't have to go through that. Or maybe somebody did and I just didn't, or I just decided not to pay any attention. But anyways, here you go. I hope you guys pay attention to me. Now all your videos can come out the best quality that they can be. So thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Once again, stay tuned. It's your boy O.Javier.TV signing out. Until next time.